All right, so the hardcores have been watching the vids, and I appreciate that. I'm blasting you. I mean, it's way too much content, but you know, it's all good stuff, and it's a positive vibe. I mean, as I go around more, like I have kind of some deep-seated stuff that I'm continually working through, that I'm becoming aware of, and I believe that I can continue to do something about it. It really feels like darkness deep within my being, you know, so the veneer of the Dan McDonald is pretty good. Like, you can do a lot with your veneer, with your diet, with your sleeping, with your exercise, with your lifestyle, with your conscious repetition of positive mantras or slogans, you know, your declarations. And I have the remedy also to deal with the darkness within, and I'm gonna get to it. You know, it's just that right now I felt like kind of divine timing, and I'm supposed to just kind of go through this phase right now where I'm kind of just like surrendering everything to God and not trying so hard to get myself right, because this really is about other people. Because Dan McDonald, as you know, funky as it can be sometimes, you know, for that guy, the word me doesn't really exist in my vocabulary, but you know, he has his rough days, but at the same time, man, the anxiety is gone. Subtle fears arise here and there, and there's a point to me saying all this. I like to just be like, I mean, because everyone's an expert these days. Everyone's got that shellacked veneer of amazingness, and everything is always going well. But I like to be overly emphasize the fact that even when I'm trying to help people, that I make sure that everybody knows that, you know, I'm on my grind too, more of a spiritual grind. Because I think that even though, you know, the dudes, they're like, if I get money, I'll get the hot girl. But then it might not. Yeah, but then you lose half the money 5, 8, 10, 12 years later. Maybe you got a kid or two and it's all funky. So you want to make sure that the person is a good vibration. That's why you want to be a more spiritually evolved instead of like, well, I'm financially involved, and you can date up on the scale because the girl's like, look, I'm pretty, I got nice breasts, I got a nice butt, and I can get the guys with the money. But the thing is how evolved are those people? You know, I think that probably a lot of the people that are super evolved on Facebook, self-proclaimed masters of spirituality, of course, they're always, you know, half naked on the internet, so I'm not really sure. You know, I mean, I get it, like, I want to express myself, but it's like, actually, you want the dopamine, and you know that you're going to get it when you flash them titties, because they're going to be boop, hitting that like button. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, that's a thing that I have. I'm kind of neutral about it. I get it. Like, if you had it, you'd flash it too. And the reason why I don't wear a shirt is because it's too damn hot, and I don't believe in clothes. I think clothes is the worst thing. I got to wear shorts. That's why, like, I'm not as healthy as I could be, because when your yoni or your lingam and your scrotum is hanging in the sunlight, that's when you get real healthy, baby. Until society wakes up to the fact that clothing is the reason why we're all fat and sick, we'll have to cover up at least, you know, our gonads for now. But the people, this is the video. It took me 5 minutes to warm up or whatever. I'm already warmed up, but I'm just saying, like, the people are struggling. I don't know, man. It's almost like, and I know I might have a little bit of this too, but it's almost like you feel like you can't break free. You don't even know what it's like to not be suffering, you know? And I see that the things that people say are really affecting their lives. You know, they say these things, and like I said, I'm sitting here telling you, I got to work on it too, but I started a long time ago, so I don't say certain kinds of things that would send that wave out into the universe and bounce back. People like it's like a boomerang, like you send it out and it comes back, but it's actually biologically instantaneous. Now, some of the manifestations of those thoughts that emanate out into the field, and remember, thoughts have weight, they have structure, they have color, they have frequency, and so your thoughts are just like the building blocks of your life. And so, although it may take time to manifest slowly, the biological reaction is instantaneous, especially with something like hatred, but even like sorrow, like, well, I'm sorry, you know. I mean, you can be in a state of sorrow or whatever, but you don't really want to repeat that out into the universe, you know. And of course, you also, when you meet your friends, you don't want to like say, oh, everything's wonderful, when they can see the tears flowing out of your eyes too. So there's an honesty, you know, but you have to kind of approach it in a way like, you know, things are a little challenging right now, but I know that it's for the good, you know, of the growth of my spirit, you know. You might say that to a friend instead of, you know, everything just sucks and it just keeps getting worse and worse and I don't know what to do. It's everyone else's fault and I am sick of this crap, you know. And that's just a totally different thing than saying, you know, I'm going through a challenging time right now, but I'm really facing it and I know it's bringing up issues so that I can look at it and I know that things are going to get better because I'm willing to do the inner work. Now, I do talk to a lot of women, their husbands, boyfriends, they're not really doing the work. Women tend to do inner work more often, but the dudes get into it too, man. I know that a lot of the women think there's no dudes out there doing the divine work, but trust me, man, there's dudes that are meditating and they're praying and they're asking to be made not into better men, because ultimately this is a strange thing, but you don't even really want to identify as a man or woman. Now, don't get me wrong, don't get me caught up with all this rainbow crap, because I'm not into that either. That's like an inverted, twisted sickness that we have in our society from chemicals and abuse and unresolved issues and just a total discombobulation of the hormone system because of the circadian biology that's just all whacked out because of our modern society. Basically, when they lit up the fair, electricity, and then it's like, humanity's been going downhill ever since. And that's something I'm going to be talking about on Friday in depth on the problems and the solutions. That'll be thriving in a dying world, because the world is dysmorphing and the people are so sad. I mean, I'm just stoked because I'm like, you know what? I don't care. Even if I'm sad and empty, I'm going to get up and go out and be stoked. And I've found out many thing that we have to do, you know, and I kind of just throw them into these little videos and then you catch them. I'd have to do like a 4-hour class, which I'm going to do. And I'm going to go over all of it. That's on Friday on the Elite Video Club on Patreon. I already got the outline. I do that when it's time and it's the divine. Normally I'm kind of lazy and aloof because I feel like the whole thing is just a lot of hogwash and a waste of time, because you should just be out breathing. You know what I mean? Like, it's amazing. Like, it's your soul. It's not really your portfolio. It's your soul. And my friends even that should be doing better. I mean, I have friends, I have dead broke friends and I have rich friends and I'm like, dude, everybody needs the DTM magic. You know what I'm saying? Because and there is the magic of those people that kind of sort of just get it. And then there's a lot of lightness that goes along with the show here. Instead of the show is so heavy and they're crying and they're angry and they're sad and they're feeling victimized. And I'm telling you, man, they're just lacking the elements of life. And I have proved it to myself over the last week by implementing the practices that are the infusion of the life energies of nature. Like right now I'm in my car. This is a car island. This isn't a cycle island because these people are crazier than shit. There's a, you know, I do ride my bike, but I ride it out on the bike path, and it's just like, it's about like a 20-mile loop, all that's said and done. And I have a loop by my house that's about like a 8 or 10-mile loop. And then with those two loops, there's nowhere to ride North Shore without all these crazy ass cars. If you ride like a scooter here or a bicycle, these people, this isn't that island. This is a car island. So that's my justification. Plus, this is a dope ass 4-wheel drive, and I just got a truckload of coconuts. So I drive 4-wheel drive out to the beach. You know, so I drive like barely any miles because I live in Lahui, and I might go to the North Shore. Sometimes I go all the way to Limahuli, where the water's the purest on planet Earth, and I bathe in there and I drink out of that, rinse my mouth, rinse my ears, rinse everything out, because that's what you want, is hydration. We're living in a goddamn microwave, you know? And the whole, you know, for me anyways, I don't believe in climate change. I just don't, not at all. I just believe it's a scam like everything else. Because I'm thinking God is like huge. And then there's all these scientists, well, what are you gonna do? We gotta write these papers because that's where our funding is coming from, you know? And there's an agenda, you know? And then everyone's like, the sky is falling, it's global hot, it's global cold, well, it's global neutral, it's just changing all the time. It's like, yeah, it's called the 4 seasons, bro. I mean, we're talking about being a tiny little ball in the middle of space, dude. And people are worried, and there's like, oh, the climate change and all this crap. Now, if the global thermonuclear war, which Russia probably staved off with their new weapons, because our people are, at least this administration, you know, warmongering retards, you know. So anyways, it's like, you just stay out of the politics, because that's like a whole bucket full of vomit. But nobody trusts the media, nobody trusts the politicians. It's about time. Now you're going to start to see the industries and the agencies crashing next. All the fraud of everything. It's all this whole glass house, and the hammers of these, like, the asteroids of truth are going to be coming out of the sky. So you might as well wake up now and get on point with the biology of the earth, because you're still organic. The whole thing's organic. And if you're going to be alive, if you're going to be life, you better get on board with the organic, because it's going to be about a minute before you put a microchip in your head and start feeling organically better. You might have a microchip put into your head that releases some kind of hormone or something, or some kind of electric shock on certain parts of your brain that produce like, that'll, but my guess is that until the technology is more, you know, advanced, like 200 years from now, there's going to be hella problems with all that kind of stuff. Whereas with the nature, it's like a win-win-win. It's organic biochemistry, it's physiology, it's quantum physics, but it's so simple that a child can understand it, because they automatically do it. And then as we become ossified as adults with all these falsehoods and the propaganda that just comes pumping in, because there's no light. So when there's no light, it's so much easier for them to manipulate. When you're a being of light, their manipulations just go right over your head. Not in a way that you don't understand. You're just like, it just goes right through you. You're like, oh, you're lying to me. And I know that you're lying to me. So I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to tell you that I know you're lying to me. I'm going to let you make a fool out of yourself. I'm not going to start anything up, because I don't want to deal with you, and I don't want to deal with your backlash, and you're offended, and you want to argue about theology and Jesus and global climate change and politics and everything else. And I'm like, it's so basic, the whole thing. And you have to look at where we come from, not what we're creating, which is becoming this advancement of technology that is actually making us sick. And I'm going to be going into the specifics. Everyone's aware of that on one level, but the finer details may surprise you. Not that I'm really like into the science and know every little nanoparticle and every frequency that's affecting us in every different way. Now there's positive frequency, there's negative frequency, and I think you should really start looking more towards the natural magnetics, you know, and the cosmic radiation. But who am I, you know? Anyways, I'm lonely because everyone feels so obligated to be miserable, and I'm just not going to do that. But I am going to start a business where I'm going to be like, yo, if you're like overweight and you're miserable, let me show you, whether that's here or the mainland. I might even start like 2 of them, because there's some dope places to go on the mainland too. Like, you might wear it out here, you know, after like 10 days or 21 days, you know, for a full reset. But then you really want to keep that lifestyle going. I should get like one good client, you know, that's like, okay, I'm a multi-billionaire, but I'm fat. I'm like, let me show you the way. I'm DTM. I will show you the way, dude. You know what I mean? And then you'll be appreciated. And then it's like you gave the gift of life, because I spent the last 25 years, you know, in that vein of the living foods and the fasting and the meditation and the semen retention. But now it's all beginning to come full circle. I'm like, oh, thank God, dude. Thank God that I took this path, because I'm starting to see, as my friends get more mature and they can't break out of the mold, it's killing them, because it's killing them inside and they can't break free. You know, although you could be anywhere and be inner independent awareness, but then if you want the cherry on top, you do the diet, the lifestyle, and the spiritual understanding. Because it's like, look, you're an infinite being and you're at peace because you found inner independent awareness no matter what, even if it's World War III and the bombs are dropping, or the apocalypse Mad Max is going on. You're like, this is cool, man. Like, I wonder if I'm going to die today or live, you know? I got a machete and a machine gun, you know, and a 9-inch blade and a hatchet, you know, or whatever, and you're out there, you know, you can still be excited, you know, to be alive in that inner independent awareness of, basically, you know, that it's all your own illusion that you're making up. The problem is the subconscious can be very difficult to deal with, because the subconscious loves the complaining, it loves the drama, it loves the pain, it's addicted to it. And once you start getting more on the spiritual side, cultivating that inner love, then you can actually start to go, you know, I don't really have to feel like shit all the time. I don't owe that to my parents or to 1,000 generations behind me. I can do amazing stuff. Now, it does take a little bit of effort. That's the gosh darn conundrum, is that it does take effort to eventually reach the effortless state. So it's amazing, but once the surrender path starts kicking in for real, and you're like, you know what? Thinking sucks, desire sucks, wanting to please everyone sucks, because it's an irritation. You're like, I'm just not gonna let myself be irritated. The animals trust, life trusts, but the humans, they don't trust. So they go into their mind and they try to start planning and plotting and scheming, and then they lose that peace, they lose that faith, they lose the flow state, so they lose the creativity. Now, the sexual energy can be very, very useful in this case. I'm not saying don't have sex, make love or whatever. That's a whole big story. But personally, you might as, if you are not absolutely head over heels in worshiping your partner like as your queen or king, then you're just, you know, you're masturbating into a sock, or you're masturbating, if you're a woman, with a big giant piece of plastic, and you're wasting your life force. And I watch what's happening to people's brains. I swear to God, my brain, albeit slowly but surely, is regenerating. And I really do want to do better. I need God, but all my crap is falling apart. It's like, this is an illusion. There's no point. Forget about it. Don't try to make anyone happy. Don't try to do anything. Just surrender and let it flow. And it's been flowing, and then there's such a preservation of the energy from living the lifestyle and learning to build the energy without leaking it out or suppressing it, with all of these suppressants of energy. We all have to modulate our energy, because here's the example. If you don't modulate your energy in some way or another, your soul will expand so much that it'll just leave the body behind. So if you're going to be in the body, you're going to have to modulate the energy in one way or another. You're going to have to use it up in one way or another, and then kind of bring it down and modulate it. And one of the great obvious modulators is food. And then there's exercise, and then sex is also a modulator. But then a lot of times it's masturbation, only because you don't want to feel what you're actually feeling. And you have to learn to take that sexual energy and transmute it up your spine into your brain. So that's going to make a humongous difference when you start that process of surrender and giving it all up to God, because you have the vital life force. And then you have to have trust and faith in your own deepest soul's knowing, which has you where it has you for a reason. And if you pay attention and wake up, you get the message, then you get to graduate. But for me, I know I'm the one, so I'm not trying to chastise anyone, but I stayed basically stoned. I'm trying to get sober now and wake up, and not use anything. And that's why I have minimized the hell out of all the bad habits, and I want to have none. My goal is to sit there in the sun and just meditate for 12 hours a day. And then of course when you do that, you don't need to sleep that much, so we might as well meditate 20 hours a day, and interspersed with yoga stretching, you know what I'm saying? And maybe you need a little bit of glycogen to have the brain power to meditate, So anyways, I know that's far-fetched at this point, but I do spend more time meditating every day. And today was more of an active day. I went for a bike ride and stuff. And what I try to do is get to the beach and be in a meditative state. But I'm addicted to fitness, But I do think that the fitness builds the energy, and it builds neurochemistry that makes you kind of happier. I'm a lot more happier now that I begin to implement all this stuff and just ignore everything that I'm supposed to be, ignore all the programs and break all the rules and live life on my terms. I've noticed I'm way more creative. I have way more energy. This morning I woke up and the energy is in my cells. So we're going to be trying to talk about that more and more as time goes on. I'm going to break it down to the best of my ability on Friday, and hopefully I just need a good amount of time to fit in all the nuances and the stories and the experiences that I've been having, so that everyone can get an understanding of what I'm trying to do here. Okay, this guy, he took off faster than me because I'm slow on the go. Anyhow, it's a great day today. I hope you got a little something out of this video. I'm getting close to being home. That was a fun one to make. It's really about energy mastery, and I see that I've only just begun. I am definitely a neophyte, but I'm along far enough in the path to where I can start telling everyone that it is beneficial to begin the process of letting go of the artificial, technocratic, transhuman, falsehood, propaganda machine, matrix brain, Borg mind of a beehive, and wake up. And, it's you're going to have to do what you're going to have to do with the situation that you've got. But anyone, anywhere can begin the process of slowly improving your life. One by one, until pretty soon, everybody's going to get sane again. Maybe, but I doubt it. But until then, it's obvious that going back and understanding that you're an organic, that you are an organic being, and that you need to live organically, and that you cannot live inorganically like we've been doing for the last 130 years, ever since the electricity, or however long it's been. And then everything went, so you have to, I do love my modern, conveniences. I like a hot shower, so I'm not saying that or anything like that. I like to be clean, but I try to leave the lights off and just go with the circadian biorhythms of the earth, and so I'm trying to just get it dialed in, man, and try to live, I'm slowly extricating myself. My landlords, they love me. I mean, they love me, and I help them pay their mortgage and go on vacations, but they're really cool to me. They're like, oh, you want to use the condo on the Big Island and stuff? I mean, I got all kinds of options, They're really cool. They don't bother me. They're not tripping. They're really nice, kind, good people, and they like me around. They used to just do more like a weekly thing. But then, they were just like, this dude's cool, and I helped her with her health. So anyways, I'm going to have to give them kind of the bad news here one of these days, because I got to get more plugged into nature. That's basically the nature of the video, and I'm just kind of saving the details for Friday. I want to keep that in my heart for now, and then I'm just going to blow it all out. These discoveries and these experiences that I've been having, and I'm like, wow, how did I miss this, And, so that's kind of just how the game is played here on the internet. You're like, you give free content, and you're like, yeah, if you want the real good stuff, go over to the Patreon, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like near and dear to my heart, and I like to get paid for the stuff that I've busted my balls for, And I know one day maybe I'll be a guru, and I'll just be sitting on the sidewalk or sitting on the ground somewhere and making videos, and I don't have any rent or any bills to pay, and I can just afford to not have like a little scheme, but I'm still stuck in the matrix of the whole scheme of it all, and it sucks, because I'm, that's something that slightly bothers me a little bit, because it would be cool if I could just go balls deep. But the thing is that people don't respect that, and they don't honor it, and they don't value it, and that's why I keep a lot to myself, because this shit is fucking extremely valuable, and I have busted my nutsack and bled and sweat, and when I get on there and then I have a bunch of fucktards, they generate pork chops for your omega-12s, like did. I'm surrounded by retards. I'm not doing it, because this is everything I have busted my ass for years, and I cannot wait. I know I'm going to attract some good clients that really are going to get this, because these meatheads are like, they're getting like $100,000 from these dudes just to be like, eat meat and lift weights. And it's like, okay, that's great. You're off the processed food. You're going to feel a little bit better. But they are missing the big picture. Seriously. Because it's like, yeah, if you just eat meat and you get off all the processed shit, you're going to feel way better. But if you do the whole thing and you understand what you really are, 99.9% empty space of light, and you have someone guiding you that actually lives the lifestyle every day from like 3:30 in the morning is when it begins, then you've got something to work with. And that's why I'm glad I said all that, because I confirmed it to myself, that this is extremely valuable. And I am stoked out of my mind. I'm going to go home and take a shower first. I just got some gnarly stuff, man. I got these pineapples. Bro. Next level, bro. And I found some watermelons, too. Plus, I got all the citrus that I picked. I mean, it's way too much. All I've had today was coconuts, because I get all this fancy stuff, and I don't even want it. But I just support the farmers, and I'm addicted to buying, food. And that's my habit. It's a good habit, though. It's better to have organic watermelons, pineapples, bananas, and cilantro, which is what I got today, because I'm going to make some coconut and cilantro. I need a little chlorophyll, to keep my blood clean, you know what I'm saying? Because living chlorophyll and living foods is the living blood, is for the living light, is for the living water, is for the living polarity of the masculine and the feminine within the cells. Then the whole thing gets to the point where you're absolutely stoked because the cells are oscillating finally. The ATP in the mitochondria are charging up via the melanin, and then bam, you are super galactivated, dude. And you wake up in the morning feeling good. And then you know that very soon you're going to be able to just sit and face this darkness within, and then that's when the light is truly going to grow within you. God bless you. DTM. Out.